Gold, 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 they just gotta have that gold. Gold, gold, they'll do anything for gold.
Welcome to Searching for Truth and Treasure in Alabama with Alabama historian, videographer, and speaker Jim Phillips. Jim has spent the last 40 years exploring and finding amazing artifacts on lesser-known sites in the state. He's here with us to discuss the how and where you can legally explore old, privately owned sites and find those amazing treasures from the state's past. Plus, he's going to tell you a story or two about hard-to-believe events he's encountered as he's toured the state. So let's get into it. Here's Jim Phillips. All right, welcome in everybody to another episode. We got Jim Phillips in the studio, and today it's all about alien wives and friendship lies. Now, your guess is as good as mine, so Jim, what in the world do you mean about this?
Sucker.
Yeah.
All you got to do is we've seen that. The one I did on UFO, and I really saw one. I really had the energy encounter.
Yep.
But boy, that gets the hits. And we ain't going viral with it, but that's popular. So you just say alien, and they come in like mice chasing cheese. Ooh, alien. We'll do something with alien wives. There's legitimately, that's going to play into this talk a little bit, and the friendship lies is too. I want to do a little bit of talking about where I've been lately. Yesterday, I was in Greenville. When you called me, I was between trying to answer the phone. Shouldn't have done this. Between two big, giant trailers pulling these giant caterpillars, and they're going all the road, and I'm trying to answer the phone. Shouldn't have done that. But I did a talk there at the library and one in a retirement community, and I've spoken since the last week. 3 weeks since we've done a?
Yeah, we've been a little behind. I've been super busy. My son got married, so we kind of took a 2-week break, but now we're back.
And I was telling Philip here that I've been researching some of this. There's all kinds of people all over the YouTube talking about how to make money doing YouTubes and going with social media. And they suggest that you do 2 of these a week, and that's what you said. Mm-hmm. Then they keep growing and building upon each other. And I got plenty of stuff to talk about to do 2 a week. I wanted to get in again about where I've been and what I've done. I spoke at a retirement community in Birmingham. It was on moms, famous and infamous mothers in U.S. history. And this was Monday the 13th. Realize it was my mother's birthday, my departed mother.
Oh, wow.
And I did a talk, and I talked about the house.
Yep.
And I talked about the supernatural things that happen in the house. I keep saying I don't want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about it until I get some participation. We may do a tease on that. But I was telling about the mysterious things and my mother. And she came up. She got it. She smiled through the whole thing instead of thinking I was a nut. And she came up and she held my hand and she said, this got to me. She says, I just want to thank you for being who you are. Isn't that sweet?
That's awesome.
She read it. She understood.
Yeah,
I was telling her the truth, and it struck a nerve, so I was pleased to do that. Oh, by the way, if you look on my my website, you'll see the antebellum infant's ring got stolen.
Oh, no.
At a church. I'm not lying.
No.
I put it in this plastic thing. I held it up. People oohed and awed. I put it in the little compartment of my case. I put it in there, zipped it. It goes to a special place. I left the satchel on the table. I went out, got to talking to somebody in the parking lot. A gentleman was kind enough to go in and get it for me and all. But now there's people going in and out of that fellowship hall that are painting. You got that in these big places.
Right.
You got construction workers and all. But I pulled away, got home, said, doggone, somebody stole it. And all that. Now, the joke's on them. Because it's 10 karat gold, it's tiny, and you can't see that diamond unless you got a magnifying glass. Did you see it? Right?
Yeah.
So they're going to go to the pawn shop.
Yep.
And the guy's going to say, I'll give you $20 for it. It would go way up. That's about all it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then my possibly only one of 2, Cleopatra the first coins at a church. People wanted to see it, had a crowd looking at that. I turned around to rake my stuff in my bag, and it's gone.
Wow.
But he's got a kleptomaniac in the group there. And, you get that and all that.
Well, you got such cool artifacts, and people probably assume a lot of them are worth
way
more than they are, but still.
Found in front of Khufu's pyramid. No, but that's not the good coin. That's Cleopatra. It was in a bezel, so you can wear this jewelry.
Right.
The back of it, you can't even tell what it is.
Yeah.
You can barely tell. I say, this is Cleopatra's chin, Cleopatra first. They can't even see it. See, that's her eye. You have to look to see it. You gotta
Right.
know it. So it's not like it's got great details.
Yeah.
So I'm not crying over it.
Yeah.
But we should have told him it turned blue. It's got a curse.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you've got this thing
And remember
and
what he
bad
said?
crap starts
Now
happening
at
to you.
midnight, moonlit night, they'll have the mummy
That's
staring
right.
at that comes for revenge. The
yeah,
mummy is on them now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I said alien wives and friendship lies. We'll kind of get into that. I'm not talking about anybody being married to an alien. I'll talk about my wife. She's been an alien to me every now and then, but we're going to the International House of Pancakes, and we get done. And I floated this on her. I knew where it'd go. I says, let's go up the road. I want to show you that third of a mile or so where something grabbed my Jeep Cherokee, and mysteriously there was not a car on the interstate that I've gone up there 1 a.m. You can't find that.
Yeah.
There's always cars. My Jeep's the only one on the interstate. That must mean something. But I can be a target for, what is it, a satellite or something? Didn't you say they're watching these in North Korea?
Yeah, always.
They are really. In Russia?
North Korea is watching everything.
Yeah, well, hey, a private citizen can't own a computer in North Korea.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the
Well, somebody in North
Well,
Korea.
that's the North Korean
watched
government.
it, so.
But they're monitoring everything with there. They've been watching the little girl that's doing a little dance. That's like they're watching her.
Yeah.
North Korea watches everything. They want to know what's going on in America.
That's right. That's right.
But I don't know whether a satellite got me or a UFO or what, but something hit the Jeep, and this is back in the one that says UFO. That was the second thing after seeing the UFO that other people have seen, and I told you a family of fled Alabama saw it up close, hovering over a lake. It terrorized them. They've left. Another guy saw it. Go back. I'm trying to refer to some of these. Go back and check the one that says UFO. So I wanted my wife to go up and explain to her just what happened to me, how it grabbed my Jeep, woo, 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 woo. And there was a tone playing over and over and over, just like Close Encounters. That's what's in the movie. And I was going to explain to her everything that happened. I want to get it documented. What do you think she said? You were dead on that time when I said, but I forgot her anniversary. What do you think she said when I came home and peeked in the bedroom? Remember that? I said exactly. What do you think she said when I said, let's go up and I want to explain to you what happened.
Probably not today.
No, can't we just go home?
Oh, my
Well,
God.
yeah, I mean, ask your friends when, all of them
Yeah.
have their car grabbed, mysteriously on the highway and a tone plays and a voice talks from somewhere beyond, just talk to them. They'll explain it. But can't we just go home? She got a lot of faith in it, which brings me to the movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg produced that movie. And my daughter finally watched it, I told you. And I asked her what she thought. You know what she couldn't believe that upset her?
What's that?
Richard Dreyfuss leaves his wife and kids.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
gets on the UFO. Oh,
Yep.
it's not. It's a flying saucer.
Flying saucer,
now.
yeah.
So he gets on the alien spacecraft to leave with the aliens. And the moral there is his wife didn't have any faith in him.
So he went.
AKA, can't we just go home now? No faith in it, right? So he leaves. Now, my daughter, that upset her. I can't believe he left his wife and kids. That bothered me with the movie. I looked this up. People watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You people in there under 50 don't even know what the heck it is.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. And so my daughter says, I can't believe he left his wife and kids. And Steven Spielberg said that bothered him. He was in his 20s then. He didn't relate to that.
Yeah.
As he's gotten older, he says, I wish we'd done it differently, where he didn't leave his wife and kids.
Right.
I wouldn't want to ride off with those little creatures.
No.
I didn't see that.
Well, it depends on what they're riding off in. I mean,
One would have to look like Gina Lola Bridges. There's my sexist remarks. I'm back to chasing bikinis on Dolphin Island. But my wife takes the UFO stuff seriously. I called her a while back. She was in the room there. I went and said, you ought to see what's on TV now about this UFO. I don't want to hear it. It scares her.
yeah.
It would have made her nervous. She's not saying that like I doubt you. She's saying
Yeah,
it like
no, yeah.
I don't
She
have
still
any,
wanna
I don't
hear
even discuss it.
Right.
She's told me that stuff makes me nervous. It makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Now, my wife has taken it on the chin with a little humor here lately. Let me say this. When I met her and I had this girl working with me and I was teasing the girl in the office, I said, I want to call her back and says, She dumped me on the phone. She said she was too busy for me. And the little girl in my office that worked with me says, yeah, give her a ring back. So she's got the prettiest voice I've ever heard. And I guess my wife has got the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. She is really something. She's still working. She really worked, did a lot of sacrifices, helping my daughter go to the University of Alabama, far more than I did. So she's been brilliant in her career, which is in real estate, underwriting, home mortgages and stuff, where people fight for her. So she's been an exceptionally talented person, and she's still got the most beautiful voice I think I've ever heard on a woman. So she has my
So when are we going to have her in for a podcast?
She may come in and do it. My daughter doesn't like to do stuff. Doug, my brother, Discovering Alabama.
Yeah.
You can Google discoveringalabama.com. That's my brother, Dr. Doug Phillips, 77 years old. He's out canoeing right now, hiking. He's produced what is Alabama Public Television's, for many years, the most popular show on Alabama Public Television. He's got billboards all over the state. Emmy Award-winning, Discovering Alabama.
Right.
And Doug still writes that, stars in it out of the Museum of Natural History. If you love nature, I called him, and many people say, your brother, the state of Alabama, owes him more than he will ever know. Says he is a legend in Alabama for what he's done. He talks about ecosystems, nature, and all that. And people pull me aside and tell me how much we appreciate your brother. DiscoveringAlabama.com. I can plug that here, can I?
Oh, heck yeah.
But it's awesome. I never get to see him. He's dedicated to his work. My daughter, as I said, couldn't believe that Richard Dreyfuss plays the part of the guy that leaves his family because of the aliens. I, by the way, had Steven Spielberg's personal videotapes. You talked about getting tapes in the mail, sending them, and how scary that was.
Yep.
I get a call from an ad agency. Listen, we've got some videotapes over here. Steven Spielberg was in Israel himself and videotaped his ancestors who had been prisoners in the German Nazi prisoner of war camps. Not prisoner of war.
Right.
Concentration camps. His aunts and all were in the camps where the Jewish folks were being gassed to death and all that. He had interviewed him. This is Steven Spielberg's personal videotapes he himself shot. They want copies of them made.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, I don't want to touch them.
All right.
But no, I mean, what if do machines eat tapes?
Oh, absolutely.
Old machines.
Back in the good old days, they sure did.
Like you and I ate Oreos at 8 years old, right? They eat
right.
tapes. So I got Steven Spielberg's, and I put them in, oh, Lord, please don't let them tear the tape. And I started making copies. But I actually did those and brought them back to the ad agency.
Wow.
Then I was referred to, this little history here. I can't remember their names. A sweetest lady called me and said she had a video. Could I make her copies? I met her at McDonald's out by Irondale, picked it up. I didn't know what it was. I went back. It was her being interviewed by Spielberg about her survival as a child in either Dachau or Auschwitz German concentration camp.
Wow.
And she hid under manure in the barn, but they were rounding up people to kill them. And she hid, and her girlfriend, they were both still alive. I told the lady when I brought the copies back, I cannot take this money.
Yeah.
I did not know this tape was your story as a child survivor. I'm just honored to see it. It had me in tears. I cannot. She argued, you've got to let me pay you. So fighting with her, I told her, Art, give me half. I go home within 2 hours, the doorbell rings, and there's the biggest fruit basket.
Oh, wow.
Must have cost $100. Yes, she said.
Oh,
and she spends her time, her and her girlfriend, as little children survived the German concentration camps, volunteering, visiting lonely people and stuff. Isn't that great?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so my wife is the alien wife in the sense that I have encountered things, but I lured you in with that. I knew that would get you. Friendship Lies, we got some stuff there. Got a call. We've had hardly any response where you can comment. And we have an email address to Philip, not to me. Why did we do that? Because I said, I don't want to open up emails and it's...
He wants me to open them up and get the virus on my computer.
Well, yeah, listen, if I don't know it's coming and you read something, it could be legit, it could be a bug in it, a virus. I mean, I have all kinds of things pulled on me.
Oh, yeah.
I had a retirement community where a lady sends me an email and she says, I'm on the road. Can you go get me a gift and I'll reimburse you for my granddaughter? It was an old credit card or debit card scam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they were going to scan it. And I knew it was a scam.
Right.
But I had another retirement community. They booked me to do a talk. And no sooner did I get home, the lady legitimately emailed me from the retirement community. I emailed her back. Then I get an email, thanks for joining the team. Their team of professionals at the retirement community. Enter our monthly contest.
Uh-oh.
Now, that sounded good.
Yeah.
Because I just sent 2 emails.
Sure.
So I click on that site, their email thing. There's an attachment.
Yep.
It says, you owe PayPal $700 something. Pay up now. I don't owe PayPal a dime.
No.
So, but see, it comes in. It looks like a legitimate. So you handle the stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
Here's the email that came in. There's the treasure stuff to this. I called the guy, nicest guy in the world. He, I guess, has watched our podcast. At least he went to my website.
Yeah.
His father lived on a farm in the 1930s, and he still owns the land. And this guy's got some physical disabilities.
Is this in Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
A tornado went through the farm, demolished the house, where the pints of silver dollars were hid in the wall.
Oh, wow.
Tornado takes the walls, takes the pint jars with all those silver dollars, and they're going out there somewhere.
Wow.
So now they could be in the next county.
Yeah.
We're talking glass that's going to break.
Right.
So all that swirling around, you're going to have silver dollars scattered all over the place. And some individuals, it could have gone up in the tornado and gone miles away, but some are going to be dropped around that farm, if not most of them around that farm.
Yeah.
So he wanted to know, could I go metal detected? And then I said, sure. And then he started giving me the address. I told him, don't do that. Don't give me the address. Like I could go ahead and go start doing that. I says, I won't go there unless you're with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't tell people about this and give the address.
That's right.
I said, and you don't tell me.
Yeah.
I says, and, so that's for his protection and mine
For
too.
sure, yeah.
So we're going to do that, but he says he had an old cheap metal detector, and he went out back and wandered across a couple of pastures, and there's metal everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And he's digging up, of course, pieces of pipe, and there's all that out there. But we ought to be finding some silver dollars. But there's a story in this. I knew it a long time ago. When a tornado comes through, and you know where the path goes, think of all the jewelry. And today, with all the affluent homes, one just missed our house and went up through Greystone. Did not destroy homes. But even if it had, one went through Cahaba Heights that destroyed homes. It's dropping jewelry and money all along that tornado path.
That's right.
You got to get permission. But if there's a forest out there,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to mess with you there. But if you see cracked and bent limbs and stuff, you get out in the forest. Now, the bad thing metal detecting a forest, you've got mulch from the leaves. Every autumn those leaves fall. You've got to go 1.5 feet down through the leaves to get to the dirt. But we're talking about tornado droppings.
Right. So
They're
shouldn't be that deep.
recent.
Yeah.
You might could see some of it in the leaves.
Right.
They're only going to be on the surface an inch or two. They're not going to be 4 or 5 inches deep in those leaves in that forest. Bracelets, diamond bracelets, necklaces. I'll tell you this, if you find something with a name on it, try to find the owner. Always try to find the owner.
Yeah.
Then what makes you sick there? They've already filed an insurance claim and got $20,000 from Allstate for losing the necklace, and then you show up with it. And guess what? Allstate ain't going to find out that you showed up.
No, I'm sure they'll give you half that money.
Shh. I'm taking a sip of my coffee on that.
Jim has to think about that a little bit.
Yeah, we're talking about being an angry angel. There's a line in Law and Order. Let me preface that with this. When we got out of high school, I think I said this once. I'm playing poker with some friends about a year out of high school, and they said, I won't give you my nickname. I'll just say they said JP. Said we saw you.
You've given us your nickname before.
No, I haven't.
Well,
we say Angry Angel, but I'm talking about hime school.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of a nasty little thing of humor. It wasn't that bad, but I wouldn't be doing that here. But they said, hey, JP, we saw you in a movie this week. A couple of them went to the movies, and I says, what do you mean? He says, well, it's called Network. And the movie is about a guy who's got a TV show, and he's mad all the time. And he's always screaming about social injustice. And on his TV show, he does this. He says, I want everybody out there to run to their windows. Everybody screaming his jugular veins out, raise their windows and shout to the streets as loud as they can. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. They said that was me in high school.
Yeah.
Always.
And could be you now.
Yeah, right, injustice. Now, let's go back to Law and Order. We try to put some humor in my frustration. Let's call it, we say anger, it's frustration at all the stupid things out there. Not that I'm a genius, because I've already told you I do stupid things, like I didn't find out the guy's grandfather where he lived on the farm.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have been rich today. I'm so stupid. This comedian is being interviewed or questioned by the detectives. He's suspected of committing a crime. He owns a comedy club, and he says to them, a good comedian looks at the world and sees a funny place. A really great comedian looks at the world and doesn't. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
My friend said to me once, when you're really mad, you are the funniest person on earth. I just go off.
I agree.
I go off right there. But the frustration comes through as anger. But you want to find out where there are tornadoes that go through property. They're all over the place.
So how long ago was the tornado that went through that property?
I won't give any indications to this, when this tornado was or where this property was. But he told me his father's, some of his legal papers were found about 100 miles away.
Oh, wow.
Now, that's papers. They're right. They'll
still,
go up. Yeah.
dang.
Yeah, they were found 80, 100 miles away in that path where the tornado ended. They find things like that. And I don't know why people don't have storm shelters now. I mean, mobile home parks, some of them have storm shelters.
Yeah.
You know, in the old days, you go out in the country, you see that. You go down the old
Everybody had a hole dug in the hillside.
They don't even do that today.
Yeah.
The millionaires buy these big mansions up here at Greystone stuff, go by the old, look at the big mansion, our Mercedes out front, and well, what are you going to do, lay in the bathtub? You can afford that. Why don't you put a...
Well, maybe they have big basements and stuff. Like our house has a basement.
Yeah, and,
so we have
the
one
corner of it's up underground.
Yeah.
We have some of that. I wish it was deeper, but if you've got a basement and it's up underground, a corner, you want to go up in there, and you want to get in the utility closet in the corner, something like that.
Right.
I want to save some lives with this. What have you learned hearing from me? We're going to ramble here. Don't get out of your car or SUV with the engine running, right?
That's right, because
Remember
you'll
my
get run over.
Backed over me?
I do.
And I'm still limping for that. I thought it was in park. It was in reverse. You got to go back and watch that. But I don't remember which one it was.
It was actually the one.
Oh, it was the medical. Medical treasures.
Yep.
But that actually happened. I'm lucky it didn't kill me. It ran over my leg and dragged me. Don't ever do that. Somebody told me his aunt did that. Got out of the car to pay a toll, leaving a parking lot, left the engine running. It started going back, knocked her down. She was at a hospital. She's in the hospital next thing you know, after being run over.
Wow.
So you got to learn to do that. Be careful with that. Let's see if there's a couple of things here.
So you said you were in Greenville?
Yeah.
What were you talking about down there, Mom?
That was Lost Treasures of
Yeah.
1800s Alabama. And the newspaper reporter came in, this young lady, and interviewed me. And I
How was she, Jim?
Well, she's asking a few questions, and I thought, we're not announcing I'm going to talk. You're going to talk about write about what I talked about. Why don't you listen to the talk? I mean, you asked me a few questions and boogie out of there. I mean, listen to the talk. Well, if you don't have time, okay. But let me tell you about something.
So what'd she ask you? What'd she ask you
about some treasures,
Yeah.
Specific treasures. I'm speaking in Mississippi at a library. We had a big crowd there. And I get done, and there's the TV station with a cameraman, a grip for the lights, and then a reporter.
Yeah.
So they're going to put me on the 6 o'clock news and 10 o'clock news. That's about the third time that's happened in my 1,300 or so talks. And, man, they don't get it. And I was sitting there, and I held up my pirate bottle, and I say, now, don't leave this out if you do nothing else. This pirate bottle was not dug by me. It dates to like 1650 to 1725, dug out of about 12 feet of sand in Florida. But it's an English mallet rum bottle used by pirates because they found all the pirate artifacts there. Very important. I made it interesting. I put a lot into that on camera. I held up that Tuscaloosa hoard coin, very interesting. So I did these interviews. These are the most important things. They don't send me an email about the newscast. I go and find it. It was terrible. I've got coins there that date to the 1700s, and he says Phillips brought coins dating back as far as the 1880s. And I got coins, and then he says, and then they show me looking at somebody's Sacagawea, $1 in a box. I've got these artifacts, these old coins from the 1800s, 1820s, 1830s, Confederate things. They show me looking at modern trash. And then he talks about stuff that's just, I don't even want to go into it. I watched it, it says, I wouldn't go hear me talk if that's what that was about.
Right.
It's just boring. But they put that on the 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news. They don't listen.
No.
They go out and do an interview, and these kids do this, and they're not even listening to what you're talking about.
That's the number one thing I tell people who work for me, because we do lots of local video productions, lots of interviewing of businesses and churches and just citizens. And I always tell my interviewers, listen to the answer of the question you just asked. Because so often they ask a question and they're thinking about what I'm going to ask them next. They didn't even hear what they said.
And this crew, God bless them for coming out, whoever sent them.
Sure,
I appreciate that. And I enjoyed the PR and all, but you missed the whole point.
Did they interview you before or after your talk?
After the talk.
Well, so they should have known a little more.
They came in the middle of the 1 hour talk. They heard 30 minutes of it. And I'm holding up all kinds of things. But he said, Phillips brought this, Phillips discussed this, and everything he said, was it true?
Yeah.
You get into some crazy stuff. I got interviewed in one talk, and the lady from the Historical Society stood up there, and she says, this is Jim Phillips. He's going to speak today. This was her introduction. His whole life's passion has been digging in garbage dumps. Here's Jim Phillips. That was the introduction. And I'm serious. That was the introduction. I'm not offended. I dig in old garbage stuff.
That hadn't been your passion for your whole life.
And they've been filled up since 1915 or so, and you do find bones from amputated bodies in there. But you're digging black dirt, and there's nothing in it. People dig outhouses. It's called privy digging. I talked about that. Don't do that. They go down, and you get a guy or a girl that goes down the rope, a ladder down they dig a rectangular pit. They go down to there, and you're 10, 15 feet down to there, and there's a wall of dirt that's being held in place by bricks or boards.
Yep.
And you knock one of those loose, and it falls in on you. My point is, though, it doesn't stink down there. All that's turned into dirt.
Sure.
It's just dirt, and people would drop coins sitting on the outhouse, drop bottles, throw bottles.
Or bottles in there, yeah.
But you got to be careful with that. So again, we talked about the friendship lies. Don't tell people where you're finding things and you think they're my friends. They won't stab me in the back. A classic case is, and I'm a friend of this guy, and I'll get back to the classic case. I told him, I'll come down there, but you've got to be with me. Now, what's the elephant in the room? I love to say that to people. What's the number one question we should be concerned with right now? We're talking about getting together. If you're me, what's the elephant in the room? What do I get out of this?
Yeah, money. Yeah.
I mean,
if I find
what do I get?
What do I get? Yeah.
I'm going to come down there as nice as you are.
Right.
And you're kind of banged up right now. You can't do a lot of hiking around, and I'm going to run. What do I get to keep?
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm going to expect to keep at least several silver dollars if we find them.
Right.
If we only find $2 silver, I get one, you get one. If we just find one, well, maybe that's yours and all that. So, but you got to work this out. That's where you want to get that in writing. Let's get back to the gold hunting. The guy told me.
And speaking of getting that in writing, on Jim's website, you can find a pre-produced contract that he has everybody sign. That
and I'm going to do that from now on. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to have you got to
just kidding.
You got a custom tailored. Get back. I've never gold prospected. I really haven't. And there are people that love to do that. And I know there's a guy down there, Verbena, Alabama, that put his kids through college with the gold he took out of the creek down there. I've heard that more than once.
Dang.
And Hatchet Creek's got gold in it. I'm trying to think of some of these creeks. Up in northeast Alabama, You've got the Hillaby region. You got Arbucoochee where there were gold mines. Don't go in the old mines. Try to get it out of the creeks. Gold washes out. It's like little streaks. It washes out and it gets in the gravel. Gold is heavier than the gravel. You look in a creek, a stream where there's a lot of gravel, and where the creek or stream bends, makes a turn, that gold will be dropped right there in that shoal of gravel. And you can go in there and they pan it, like the old prospectors. They put it through these little sifting things that turn. I don't know what the name of that is because I've never done it. But that's how you find gold. Now, this guy had been hunting a creek in northeast Alabama in the gold country. He talked to me. He said he found a creek and there was this shoal of gravel, a big one. He was pulling more gold out of there than you can imagine. Metal detecting it, panning it. He told his best friend that he grew up with, his best friend who he knew would keep it a secret.
Sure.
I'm letting you in on it. We'll go like whatever you find and I find, it's ours. Instead of me just hogging it, I'm bringing you in on it. So the best friend tells a friend that's not the friend of the party that found it, who tells his buddies in the hunting club. I'm tired of it. And they cleaned it out. The guy that found it just started and there was none left for him. I was doing a talk, I think it might have been in Wetumpka, and I get a phone call from this girl, and she said, I was at the talk, and I'm just really interested in you helping me with the old bottles. My husband and I bought a site where there's a home, we're living in it from the 1880s, out in the creek, because I told him, look in the creeks, there was, as you said, a dump. We find that cobalt blue glass, dark blue with air bubbles in it, the milk glass, which is white. So I said, yeah. This is how you dig it. Go out there and claw with a potato claw and dig around. I said, so you don't break it.
Right.
I talked to her on the phone. She says, we really need the money. We started a business and we're struggling. You'll make money. Call me. I'll put you in touch with Jerry Mobile. Remember Soda Empire?
Yeah.
Spoke to him last week. Jerry will buy bottles. I'll put you in touch with Steve. I'll put you in touch with people. And me.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody where this is. You're sitting on a little fortune. I kept her on the phone. She kept me on the phone an hour asking me for pointers. And I said, now, don't let your husband tell his buddies in the hunting club, because there's always a hunting club, because they'll clean that out. And I said, I want to talk to you. When can I call you? She said, let's talk next week. She would never answer the phone again. I'd leave messages and stuff. So, but the point is, I stayed on the phone for an hour, coaching her, telling her, describing glass, what to do, how to do it, how to market it, what certain things were worth. Pick my brain, through with you. Now the husband and the hunting club get together. Happened up in Anniston. I went up there. I've told people the story. Maybe I did in one early podcast that you erased. I'm going to do a talk, Talladega. And there's a craft shop, and I go in and there's a girl in there working with her mother. She says, I just bought an old building, historic building, built about 1890 across the street, and we're taking the floor up, and there's old bottles under it. Could you help me with that? I was, oh my Lord, I can't believe it. It's a blessing. We met. We walk across the street, and she's got those bottles there from the 1890s, early 1900s.
Wow.
She had a soda bottle worth about 50 or 100, and she was just starting to find them. I said, I want to get you in touch with people that want to buy some of this, and maybe me too, who doesn't have a lot of money. So I said, when do you want me to talk to her? Well, call me Wednesday. I called her that Wednesday the next week. She says, well, I'm pulling more out. Let's talk in a week. So I talk on the phone for an hour helping her. And I said, now don't let people know about this. She had a boyfriend. I used that line, the hunting club. Don't let the hunting club get involved on it. So I spent a lot of time with her. She said, I want to trust you to help me with this. All of a sudden, her mother went to the phone. Well, she's not here. Nobody would return my calls. See, I've been played again. Now, my friend Steve went to a bottle show, and he says, oh, there were people there from Talladega, and they talk about this crazy old man that came into town. That was a nut obsessed with bottles. Remember, she asked me would I help her. Would I go look at this old building? Would I help her with her bottles? Would I call her back? She's asking me, help me, and then I'm a crazy old man.
See, here's what you need to do, Jim. The next time somebody calls you and asks you to help, the first words out of your mouth should be, no, not even that. Could you please give me a credit card number, and I'll go ahead and put that on file. Because I run into it a lot with what I do with video marketing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff I do with YouTube and podcasts, and I have people all the time calling, hey, can you answer this? And I go, I have a consultation fee, and here's how much that is.
Well,
And every now and then they're like, okay, great. Most of the time you never hear from them again.
I
so.
went to high school with this guy who was an attorney, and I called him once with a question, and we took scuba diving together.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a year ahead of me in high school, but I knew him. He was really a nice guy, and I asked him a question about something. I said, let me ask you this, and I told him. And then I said another question. He says, one question's free. After that, you got to come in for a conference. God bless him.
Yeah.
God
you have
bless
to.
him.
You have
yeah.
to.
I mean, he's got a life. He's got a business. I can't stand there pulling free information out of him.
That's
He's a professional.
That's right.
Let me talk about the donation stuff. Taylor Swift didn't give us any. Nancy Sinatra hadn't given us any. I would say this to anybody within a 100-mile radius of Birmingham. If you donate and you go to my website, jimphillipsalabama.com, and you get to the website and scan down it says donate, and you're taking, as you say, Philip, money from their PayPal.
I'm not taking any.
No, I mean, is that what they're
Jim's taking all the money.
Yeah, but it goes to my PayPal.
No, you can pay from your, you can donate from your PayPal account or credit card or however you.
I don't know how but I mean, they can.
All secure, yeah.
Yeah, but well, listen, it goes to my PayPal, and every penny is spent for gas, maintaining my Jeep to explore, research, making copies of things, travel expenses to explore, and we'll report back on the guy with the Tornado Alley.
I'm excited about that.
That's going to come up. I'll report back what we found. We can get some pictures of it and stuff like that. So if you want to put in, I'd say between 150 and 200, put an odd amount in and send an email. They can do that to you, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
That gives you a talk from me.
Oh,
the
cool.
talk is Lost and Some Found Treasures of 1800s Alabama. At that talk, after the talk, I want some time to do free appraisals of pre-1920 bottles, coins, and paper currency. The appraisals are free. The talk, you can put down $151.11. I want an odd number so we know it's you.
Yeah.
And then, or $167.31 or something. Make it odd.
Right.
So that there's so many variables between 150 and 200. That's a little more than I charge in the Birmingham area, but that's in line with going to like 80 miles from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Doing a talk for 150.
Yeah.
But
and look, that could get you a private talk with Jim.
Garden club.
or just bring in your neighborhood.
Garden club. I ain't going to talk at no KKK convention. Right? Or devil worshipers. I don't talk at those kind of events, right?
Well, you don't at the moment.
But I will talk for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They'll do great work. I will talk at church senior groups. I will talk at civic clubs. I talk there.
Yeah.
Sertoma clubs. I've spoken to them on this. All kinds of clubs, libraries. You're in an organization or you got a church or something and you'd like me to do a talk. You go ahead and it's not tax deductible.
No.
You're going to put that money as a donation, an odd amount between 150 and 200, and then you're going to correspond with me and I'll book you for the talk, okay?
There you go.
That's within a 100-mile radius of Birmingham. So you're getting something for that.
Yeah.
And then I'll come in and do appraisals. With the appraisals and your friends getting appraised, they charge like $150, $200 an hour for that.
Right.
Coin dealers. And with me, it's going to be free.
Yeah.
Okay, baby. What do you want out of life?
And Jim knows his stuff for sure.
Yeah, what do you want out of life? One thing I was talking about, I really need to research it. You were asking about the $2 bills and the red seal.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate $2 bills. I really don't know what seal's rare. I think maybe $5. I don't know. I've got to go bone up on. I used to know. I forgot what the $2 bill things. But you got to get to the old ones. I think that back to 1917 backwards, you start getting in some money with that.
Yeah.
Let me make a clarification here, and we need to get off this. We're trying to shorten these things.
Yep.
I was talking about how Coca Mariani, which is cocaine and wine, was sent by Mark Twain to Ulysses Grant so he could fight the pain from his throat cancer.
Right.
And I said it got him through that. I came back and made a little remark that Coca Mariani saved Grant's life. Cocaine and wine does not save your life.
Sure as heck makes it better,
I
though.
say
doesn't
some stupid things, and I said that like I heard the podcast. What's that? It just killed the pain for a while. Does not save the life. Well, let's wrap this one up. But I want to get that thing in there with the donation stuff.
Yeah.
Put that in and autumn out, and then line me up for a talk.
There you go.
With free appraisal.
I mean, can you imagine spending an hour, Jim, on your back porch just
Hey, listen.
talking about all this stuff?
Are we going to
and
knock
looking
out
at your old
another
stuff?
one? It's going to be Medical Treasures Round 2.
All right.
With some
all
more
right.
great stories.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Visit JimPhillipsAlabama.com. Take care.
Gold, 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 they just gotta have that gold. Gold, gold, they'll do.
Thanks for listening to another episode. If you have questions for Jim Phillips or would like more information on his speaking availability, visit his website at JimPhillipsAlabama.com.